Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of The Insider, where we get to know a little bit more about, the people in the sports world on and off the field. All right. So today we have a really special guest joining us today, a former football trainer for the University Illinois football team. So go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Hey y'all, my name is Moutry. I am a senior studying human development and family studies with a minor in recreational sports and tourism. And I have previously worked with the Illini football team here for 2 years as a student aid athletic trainer. And I've also been a sports ambassador for DIA Sports, along with working closely with sports psychologist James Warren to create different environments and different programs for athletes to just get more in tune with their mental health as a whole.
That's great. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get into athletic training, and what led you to the University of Illinois?
So,
Like, was this the plan overall, or
yeah, I think more so the fact of it. I did not want to become Illinois student at all. I applied, but I initially was applying to the pre-med program to become a pediatrician. But later on, like towards junior year, a little bit in that summer between sophomore to junior, I just became like in love with just a lot of different sports, especially football, as like, sports here is a big, 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 big impact in our life. So through that, I knew I wanted to work heavily close with athletes, and I started to begin my research and found that maybe sports medicine was something I wanted to do. So I reached out to different trainers from different sports, track, volleyball, um, football, women's basketball, and football was the only one that got back to me and gave me the opportunity to work as a student trainer. And from that, then I learned just different things that I wanted to branch out into with, programs and stuff like that for athletes.
That's great. So, how long were you with the team, and what was your day to day life as a trainer?
Yeah, so I, in totality, worked for 2 years. I started this summer, going into my junior year, and I just recently ended this spring semester at the beginning around January. And typically the everyday experience is different per season. So during the summer, during fall camp, you are out there every single day, 40-hour weeks. You are running drills with the guys. You're there giving them water, making sure they're hydrated on and off the field whenever there's breaks, making sure that they're okay. You may have to just, in totality, assist the trainers, whatever they may need. And then you also do rehab, so before and after practice, which is can range from your day. It could be starting at 6 a.m. You don't leave till like 3, 4 o'clock, depending on how long rehab goes. The season is very similar. You do practice. We have practices maybe starting at 6 a.m., which is where the rehab takes, and then we have practice for 2.5 hours, then rehab again, and then you go to class. And then on the weekends, it's the same thing. So season is very, 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 very busy. You're setting up, you're taking down, you're making sure all the guys have, water. You're making sure they stay hydrated. You're making sure that if they need treatment, you're helping out, make sure they stay on track with their rehabs, all those different things. And then towards the spring season, spring is pretty much more chill. You are really just only doing treatments, helping the guys with their treatments. And then furthermore, you're there for their conditioning, just making sure you give them water. So yeah. Yeah, it was a lot. So you after
game, yeah. Practices. Okay. Do you remember what was your first game like?
Yeah, I was very scared. I had to. So there's different jobs that you aren't required to do. So for my first game, I literally had to. Yeah, I literally had to run and make sure the refs had water. So that means I had to run across the entire field. Like the refs are at each corner of the field, not in the middle, no nothing. So I was practically nervous. I thought I was going to fall on my face. I thought I was going to drop water. I thought I was going to not have enough, not run out in time, or I was going to run too early. And I was just like in my head so much. So I was very, very scared. But it was very tiring for my first game because we always have to be there about 2-3 hours before the game starts to set up and make sure the guys are hydrated and help them and stuff like that. So I was very, very tired at the end because we still have to take everything down. But it was a life changing experience. And I also was on TV doing all this. So I looked a mess, honestly. But it was a fun event in totality.
All right. Most fans see what happens on the field, but you're a part of the team long before kickoff. What does a typical game week look like?
Mm. I would say it really just depends on who we're playing. So if we're playing a Big Ten team and they're highly ranked, there's going to be a lot of like television. There's going to be a lot of interviews, a lot of media leading up to that week, that game, the game day. So you get to meet a lot of people, which is like a good thing. So during game week, you're meeting a lot of different scouts. You're really meeting a lot of different people that do interviews, like media and stuff like that. And it's a great opportunity. I would say the day before game day is probably the most taxing because we're rushing around trying to make sure everything's in the right place so we don't have to do too much the day of game day. But game day is probably like, you would think that's the more stressful part, but honestly, it's the day before the game, which is probably the most stressful. Yeah.